Welcome to your weekly forecast. My name is Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and in these weekly videos, I go over the energy for the week ahead. And in this video, we will be going over the energy from August 21st to the 27th already, 2023. I can't believe how fast the time is going. Summer is almost over. But if you align with my energy and you enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and hit the post notification bell so that you can get notified every time I upload a new video. Before I get into the energy for the week, I always touch on some of the energy that we've been moving through. So we've had Mercury at that 21 degree point, getting ready to station retrograde, which will happen this week on the 23rd. I want you to think back the last couple of weeks since Mercury has been in pre-shadow, because Mercury is going to retrograde from 21 degrees to 8 degrees of Virgo. So once Mercury hit that 8 degree point, Mercury was officially in pre-shadow. And so the last couple of weeks, anything that has shown up for you around documents, paperwork, contracts, communication, information, this can give you an idea of some things that you may be revisiting or moving through while Mercury is retrograde. Now, I have talked about this Mercury retrograde. I actually made a full video on it going into all 12 signs. You can check that out. I'll probably post it at the end of this video. But the same day that Mercury stations retrograde, the sun enters Virgo. And so Mercury is at home in Virgo. There's a lot of Virgo energy. And I was thinking too that during Virgo season, this is back to school. This is back to routine. Virgo very much rules organizing, getting back to routine, setting those routines for the fall, for the rest of the year, getting the kids back to school, getting back on track from the summer. And so there's a lot of energy around that. Now with Mercury being at home in Virgo, I feel like, and also the sun being in Virgo, I really feel like, I guess for everybody is going to feel it differently. Of course, if you have personal planets or points in Virgo, I have my ascendant in Virgo. And so I'm definitely feeling this because my ascendant is at 6 degrees. But you want to check and see if you have any personal planets or points, because the planets that you have in Virgo or the points that you have in Virgo are going to be going through a reevaluation, a redirecting of energy, rethinking certain things, and really just evaluating a new direction. Maybe you're wanting to implement something new. And this is actually a great energy for redoing any work, any creations, any projects. This is a great energy for going back if you create courses, if you create podcasts, if you are a content creator of any kind, or you do any publishing, anything around putting information out, communicating, reading, speaking, and writing. This is actually a great time to create. And as I say that, again, it really depends on your personal birth chart. If you don't have any challenges to Mercury, this can really be a great energy of, tapping into your creative flow, especially if you are a natal Mercury retrograde. Sometimes these can be the most heightened creative points of time. I know for me, I am a natal Mercury retrograde person where communication can just naturally be a little bit challenging for me, where I have all of these thoughts and sometimes cannot get them out, which I'm sure you know. Sometimes I stumble over my words if you listen to my videos. This is something that I struggle with, and actually something that has held me back for a long time when it comes to making this content. And I had to just finally come to terms with the fact that whoever is in alignment with me will enjoy my work, and I can't allow my fears to hold me back. And I think that's something that every person kind of moves through that has Mercury retrograde. And then depending on the house will depend also on how this is expressed and the areas of life that this shows up in. I'm going on a bit of a little tangent, so I digress. If you natally have Mercury retrograde, pay attention to your intuitive downloads. This can be a time where you are just getting all of these downloads, all of these messages that can really help push you in a new direction or create something beautiful, start a project. So, keep track of your downloads, of your messages, write them down, journal. I always say to journal, but that's definitely a thing. So be mindful and aware of your messages and downloads that you are receiving. Now, let's get into Monday. So on Monday, we have this And we have this really interesting energy on Monday. We have the sun at 27 degrees of Leo forming an in conjunction to Neptune. And so that's like early Monday morning. As we move through the day, the sun will move to 28 degrees, but we're still kind of feeling the energy. And this is where there's a little bit of lack of clarity when it comes to your direction that you want to take. It's like you're wanting to express yourself in some way, but Neptune can confuse things. And this can also be us wanting to take action based on just having it feel good. Neptune has us over idealize things. And so we want to make sure that the direction we're moving through, that the action that we're taking, that we are not seeing things with rose colored glasses on, and that we are seeing things for how they are, not what we want them to be, because that is very important, especially when we have the sun in conjunct to Neptune, because an in conjunction is where there's a lack of clarity. There's something not in balance. So we do want to be mindful, Sunday, but also Monday. And I know I'm recording this on Sunday, but we will still feel this on Monday, the 21st. Now, also on Monday, we have the moon in Libra. And when the moon is in Libra, we want everything to be in harmony, to be in balance. But this is our second experience with the moon in Libra since the South Node entered Libra. And so that really changes the energy up a little bit. I've talked a lot about, too, the South Node being in Libra, where this can be an energy, between now and January 2025, we're really becoming aware of those parts of our life that are not in balance. And so every month when we have the moon conjunct this energy, when we have the moon moving through Libra, joining up with the South Node, this is where we can really be feeling that. And really be wanting to make those changes, move in the new direction, where we are really becoming aware of those parts that are not in balance and feeling intuitively, but internally what needs to be released and what needs to be let go of in order to push you into alignment. Now, also on Monday, we have Venus retrograde forming a square to Jupiter. And so, a lot of this Venus retrograde energy, we've been rethinking and reevaluating our finances, going through self-love and self-worth and self-respect energies, moving through relationship energies, becoming aware of certain people in our life that are no longer in alignment, or certain parts of ourselves that we need to change. We've been doing a lot of reflecting. And so when Venus squared Jupiter back about a month and a half ago, while Venus was direct, and Venus is going to square Jupiter again. And so this is an ongoing energy. However, the fact that Venus is retrograde, this is more of a reflection, a reevaluation, and a revisiting of these things that you're kind of moving through. And will show up for everybody differently. It can show up in many different forms because we all have different charts, we all have different energy, we all have different experiences. But whatever you've been moving through since June, when it comes to your money, when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to your self-love and your self-worth, this is where there can just be a hold, a stop, or conflict. And not even really it's almost like an internal conflict, not a conflict with someone else. I'm feeling like an internal conflict on what to do, where to go, which direction to take. And so this is just an energy that we want to be mindful of, and that we will revisit again in a few weeks from now. Now, also on Monday is a pretty big energetic day. Also on Monday, we have Mars forming an in conjunction to the North Node, the same time too that we have that moon conjunct the South Node. So this also is adding to that wanting to take action with something, wanting to do something. You're not only feeling this push to release and let something go, or feeling what is not in balance, what is not in harmony, but you're wanting to take action on it because you know that there's something that has to be released in order to move forward, in order to take these next steps on your journey, this new direction. But there's confusion, there's a lack of clarity, there's a not knowing which direction to take, and that is that in conjunction energy. And so if this is something that you're moving through, this is an energy we're all moving through, you are not alone. Sit with it, go within and journal, and there will be clarity around this. It's not, you just don't want to be taking action based on your emotions. You don't want to be taking action just based on something feeling good, especially on Monday. Also, Monday evening, we have the moon entering Scorpio. And so we go from the moon in Libra, where we're wanting everything to be in balance, be in harmony, to the moon now being in Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign. Scorpio is a very receptive, very intuitive energy. This is also an energy of investigating, being the detective, being the researcher. And so if there is anything that you're moving through, this can be an energy of trying to figure things out. Now, I also want to note that this is the second time we've had the moon in Scorpio without the south node. For a year and a half, we had the south node in Scorpio. So every time we had the moon in Scorpio, we had that south node energy. We're able to kind of enjoy the moon in Scorpio now, where there's not this push to like, oh, I have to release something. I have to let something go. This has to change. This isn't right. I need to figure this out because it's not working for me. So we're really able to enjoy the Scorpio energy of sitting with it, bringing in to just the intuitive element of Scorpio. It's an extremely intuitive sign. It's a very psychic energy. So when the moon is in Scorpio, we can really be tapping into our intuition, tapping into our psychic abilities, enhancing them, manifesting, meditating. I highly recommend meditating at this time. Now, on Tuesday morning, we also have the moon in Scorpio forming a trine to Saturn retrograde in Pisces. And so this is a great energy for, it's a water energy. It's a Scorpio and Pisces. So it's intuitive, receptive. But I really feel what this energy is, because with Saturn retrograde, we've really been rethinking our commitments, responsibilities. And this is where we can just be feeling that on Tuesday morning, really feeling like, do I still want to be committed to this? Do I still want to be responsible for this? What do I want to change? And not that it is a challenging energy at all, because it is a trine. I just feel like Tuesday morning we will really be feeling, those changes we want to make when it has to do with our commitments and responsibilities. And then later on Tuesday, Mars is going to form an exact opposition right to the minute. Mars in Virgo at 26 degrees at 59 minutes will oppose Neptune retrograde at 26 degrees 59 minutes in Pisces. So this is quite interesting. And then Neptune shifts, I believe, moves back to, or this is right when Neptune goes in. I can't remember, but this is right before one of those planets changed. So it's like for a split moment, we have Mars opposing Neptune exact right to the minute. And this is around, I'm at Eastern Standard Time. This is 4:05 p.m. So this is like afternoon, evening, where there's something here where there can be a lack of clarity when it has to do with the direction. This is about taking action, right? Like Mars is all about taking action, doing the thing, physically exerting yourself, going after what you need, what you want. Mars also represents our motivation, our willpower, our drive, our physical energy. So with this opposition to Neptune, there can be confusion, but this is again where we can be really acting on something that we don't have all the answers to, or that we don't have all the information for. There can be something here that we're not understanding or we're not seeing clearly. And so we do want to watch later on Tuesday for taking action towards something that maybe even we are over idealizing, where we are basing our actions on how we're feeling. It feels good. It seems good. So listen to your intuition, because remember, Neptune is in Pisces. At the time, we will still have the moon in Scorpio. We also have Saturn still Saturn obviously still in Pisces. So there's a lot of intuitive energy here. So I really recommend, if this is something you're moving through on Tuesday, where you're having to take action or wanting to take action with something or make a decision or go for something, listen to your intuition. Don't ignore your intuition, because there can be something here that maybe you're seeing something with rose-colored glasses on, or maybe you're seeing something for how you want it to be, but not exactly for how it is. So definitely something to be mindful of and aware of. And then on Wednesday, we have the sun enter Virgo. So we begin Virgo season. And like I mentioned before, this is where we are really thinking about getting back into routine. Kids go back to school. We start to get back on track. Summer is coming to an end, which I can't believe that it has gone so quick. Time is just flying. But we are back in Virgo season. So we're thinking about routines. We're thinking about organizing. We're thinking about getting back on track. And even too, I find, not just the kids going back to school, but this is even when the adults, the parents, I have 3 children. So I know even for me, just naturally, it's like, okay, September is coming. I'm even implementing new routines into my life, my home business. I have to stick to a pretty strict routine because when you work from home and you're your own boss, it's very easy to slack, right? Because you don't have anyone pushing you. It's like you don't have to be at a place at a certain time. So I'm even implementing new routines into my day-to-day life. And so it is quite interesting how when we have the sun move through Virgo, we're all really feeling this energy of back in routine. Summer is over. And then we also have Mercury stationing retrograde on Wednesday. And so the sun enters Virgo, and then we have Mercury station retrograde a few hours later. Mercury has been at that 21-degree point for, I think Mercury will be there for a total 11 days. And so now is when we want to watch our communication. We want to watch our information, miscommunication too, even social media, leaving comments. This is where people can be taking things that you're saying the wrong way. There's a lot of miscommunication during Mercury retrograde. You want to be watching your text messages. You want to be watching your emails. This is also a time too. Mercury rules siblings and cousins, community, neighbors, and neighborhood. So this is where there can be things arising in those themes and topics and areas of your life. And vehicles. Mercury also rules vehicles. I've actually had issues with my vehicle during a Mercury retrograde. And so these are just things we want to be mindful of, aware of, and conscious. And then later, Wednesday, we have around the same time that Mercury stations retrograde, we have the moon opposing Uranus. This can feel very anxious. This is where we can be feeling a lot of anxiety. Our mind is racing because when a planet stations retrograde, it becomes very powerful. So we really feel that energy, and Mercury being retrograde and stationing retrograde and us having the moon opposing Uranus, there can be a lot of anxiety. And so this is Wednesday around 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So adjust for your time zone so you kind of know when you will be feeling this energy. But this is just a period of time where we do want to be mindful. And also, too, because we have Mercury retrograde still not that far away from Mars. We will have Mars at 27 degrees of Virgo when this happens. And so this can feel intense. There can be a lot going on here. And I'm sorry if this sounds very vague, but also intuitively, I'm feeling like we may be receiving information, whether it's collectively or individually, that's bringing on a lot of confusion, a lack of direction, not knowing kind of what's going on or the direction to take. So I hope that makes sense. But we do just want to watch for anxiety because that moon opposing Uranus can definitely bring that on. And then on Thursday, we have the moon entering Sagittarius. And this will be the first quarter square from the new moon in Leo that we just had on the 16th. And so this can be a crisis of commitment. This is where you want to be mindful. This is where things can really be showing up. And because the moon will also be squaring Saturn retrograde now. So throughout Thursday, we don't want to be feeling discouraged. We don't want to be letting our past affect our future. And this is something that can come up on Thursday. And also, too, maybe what we're hearing on Wednesday, that confusion, whatever information we are receiving, maybe we're feeling defeated in some way. And so we don't want to allow this to affect our direction. We don't want to allow this to affect our progress in the direction that we're moving in on this at this time, this new direction, this new journey. And so this is where we can be feeling a little bit defeated. We can be feeling, going back into the past, things that happened in the past, and allowing that to affect the direction that we want to take now and our future. And then we also have the moon squaring Saturn. And so that can feel very emotionally restrictive. Like maybe you're not able to express your emotions, or you feel like you're not able to express your emotions. There can be confusion. There can be, something coming up with with a situation or experience within your life. But even this energy that we're kind of already moving through, we're emotionally, again, I feel like emotionally almost defeated. So we really do want to be mindful on Thursday. It feels like it might be a little bit of a challenging day emotionally. So I always say when we have this challenging energy, try not to take action if you can hold off, ground, drink a lot of water, and take care of yourself, take care of your body, emotional body, physical body, intuitive and spiritual body. Make sure that we are going within. We're just sitting with the energy. If you can, take it easy, because I do feel like Thursday can be a little bit of a challenging day, especially emotionally. And then on Friday, we have the sun starting to come closer and starting to approach that opposition to Saturn. And so this can also feel very restrictive with self expression, self identity. The direction that you're wanting to take, even physical energy, whatever you're trying to implement at this time, whatever you are trying to do, there can be a block, there can be a hold to something. This is Saturn. This can have to do with wanting to do something, but responsibilities and commitments coming up that you have to move through. This can be wanting to do something, but having, somebody put a hold or a stop to that and say, not right now. This can be where we are feeling also restricted with being able to express ourselves in some way. And so again, I feel like I'm being vague because I feel like there's a lot this week. I feel so intuitively, and this may be confusing, but I really do feel this week there's going to be a lot of information coming out that's going to be having us feel restricted in some way. But we also have the moon on Friday forming a trine to Venus retrograde and forming a trine to Chiron. So it's almost like we're receiving all this information. There's a lot coming out of with certain areas of our life, but it's like emotionally to inside we feel like we're ready to take on whatever challenges come our way. And from old wounds, old traumas, old vulnerabilities and things we've been through the last few years, I think has made us stronger. We've been confused. We've had a lack of clarity, lack of direction. We're living in a completely different world. But I do feel like we are not going to tolerate certain things anymore. I feel like we have that power to kind of stand up for ourselves, especially with the North Node in Aries. And I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, but I don't know why intuitively and with the astrology, I'm feeling like there's something coming this week that we need to be mindful of and aware of. The fact that we have the Venus retrograde, we have that, Mars forming that opposition to Neptune, and then to just all the energy that's kind of going on, and then the sun, opposing Saturn. It just seems like there's a lot coming up where we're feeling restricted in some way. So I'm sorry if this is like confusing and kind of vague, but it is, with the astrology and what I'm feeling intuitively, it's like we're wanting to do something, we're wanting to take action. We have these plans to move forward with something, but we're being stopped, we're being held back in some way. So we do want to be mindful of that at the end of the week. Really like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Well, and Saturday, because Saturday is when we have the sun oppose Saturn exact. And at this point, we will have the moon forming a trine to the North Node. So we're really feeling, and the moon's in Sagittarius. So we're really feeling this this energy of like going after what we want. Like, no, we want to be free. No, we want to be able to do what we want. Where, we have this direction that we want to take. I'm moving in this direction, and this is how I feel, and this is what I want, and I'm not going to be held back. I'm not going to sit here and listen to this nonsense. This is kind of a lot of what I'm feeling. And then with the energy, the moon, it's interesting, but also too, Saturday we will have the moon form a square to Neptune as well. So we have the moon forming a trine to the North Node, but squaring Neptune. And so we're feeling like we want to take this direction. We're feeling like we want to move in this direction, but there's a lot of confusion, or there can be a hold or a stop, or, we're not getting the proper information with something. There's emotional confusion almost in a sense with this moon square to Neptune. And so something to just be mindful of. Now, Saturday morning, the moon is going to, Saturday morning, Eastern Standard Time, the moon is going to enter Capricorn. When the moon enters Capricorn, the moon is going to form a trine to the sun and also sextile Saturn. So on Saturday, we do have that sun opposition to Saturn, which can bring in that restrictive energy with self-expression, with the direction you want to move in, with your soul's journey, and this new life you have within you. And that's what I'm feeling intuitively too. Like there's this urge inside that's a lot of people are just feeling like it's time to go. And I feel like this is with a lot of light workers, with a lot of intuitives and empaths and, individuals that are on their spiritual journey and spiritual path. I feel like are starting to feel this urge bubble within, like it's now time, holding those light codes and raising the frequency and vibration of the planet. It's like we all have to step up now. We have to do the work. This is what we came here to do. With everything going on in our world, we have to counteract this with our light, with our energy and our frequency and vibration. And those who came here to do that at this time are feeling that urge to do so. And so whatever is coming up that's trying to block us, that is trying to stop, where we're feeling this restriction, it's like, no, we feel this power inside. We're doing what we came here to do. And I hope this is not confusing, but I have to put this message out because it's not just the astrology, it is my intuition, and somebody, it has to be out. So I hope that this doesn't sound too out there, but it's a message I do have to give because, it's something we're moving through. And this is going to be Saturday where whatever we're being blocked with, whatever is trying to restrict us, whether it is collectively or whether it is individually, it's like, no. And with the moon forming that sextile to Saturn, sextiles can bring in opportunities, but what I feel like this is, and so I really want you to be mindful and aware of this and pay attention to your intuitive downloads, because I feel like there can be a lot of intuitive downloads on Saturday of which direction to take when it has to do, for example, if you've wanted to start a spiritual business, or if you're a light worker and you've wanted to start stepping into your power and doing the thing, you're going to get ideas on how to do that, especially especially with this day on Saturday. I'm really, really feeling that. So definitely be aware of that, mindful of that. But this is something I do feel like we're moving through on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we have Mars enter Libra, and we will have the moon form a trine to Uranus. And this is this is the intuitive messages coming in, where your intuition, Uranus is the great awakener. And so yes, whenever the moon is connecting with Uranus, I do always say we want to watch for anxiety. Uranus does rule the electrical systems within our body, but this is also when we can be getting really powerful intuitive downloads. And so whatever we're moving through this week, especially, this kind of restrictive energy I'm talking about, Saturday and Sunday, we want to pay attention to our intuition. We want to pay attention to those messages and downloads that we are receiving. Once Mars enters Libra, Mars doesn't do the greatest in Libra. So, energy, motivation, and drive can start to become a little bit nil, where we are, lacking that in a little bit. So we do want to be mindful of that. However, Libra is an air sign. So Mars being that aggressor, this aggressive energy where we can sometimes be moving through anger and conflict, we want to be mindful of that, because that is where that can be heightened while Mars is moving through Libra. But Libra also rules, balance, harmony. That is also why Mars doesn't do the greatest in Libra, because Mars is not exactly about balance and harmony, and Libra is. And so that's why this can be a little bit of a challenging energy. It's like, but also too, and I just got this intuitively, this is where we really feel that power to bring things into balance. We really tap into the power within us. You know what? As I'm doing this weekly video, I'm starting to think that maybe I should just do strictly an intuitive message for the week, or maybe a morning energy message. Let me know in the comments below if you would like me to start to just strictly do an intuitive energy message. Like I could call it energy forecast. I mean, this one's energy update, but I do use my intuition and the astrology, but maybe I can do one where I'm just focusing on strictly what is coming to me intuitively and what I'm feeling. Let me know in the comments below if you would like that daily or even weekly, because I've been thinking about doing like a little 10-minute live every morning going over the energy, because on my TikTok, I do a daily cosmic weather report. Maybe on my YouTube channel, I can go live for a little bit every morning and intuitively talk about the energies. Let me know in the comments below what you would like from me, if this resonates with you or aligns with you, and if you would like me to do this, because I absolutely would. And this just, again, came to me intuitively. So, and I always say I always talk about what comes to me intuitively, because I trust that it's something I have to say and get out. If I don't, I block up my throat chakra, and I can feel it. So I have to just like say these things and get them out. But with this Mars in Libra, this is where maybe we're feeling that power of bringing our life into balance, bringing our world into balance. So with Mars in Libra, this is something where it is an energy that doesn't necessarily work great together. We can have that lack of motivation, willpower, and drive, but this can be because Libra is all about justice. Libra is all about harmony. Libra is all about bringing life into balance. And with the South Node in Libra, we're really maybe feeling that energy of taking action and getting it done and really doing it, really implementing certain things into our life, taking action on where we know we don't have balance in our life. And so that is the energy that we are moving through for the week ahead. I'm working on a few other videos as well. I'm going to be doing a Jupiter retrograde video going into all 12 rising signs, I think I'm going to. And then I will be posting a full moon in Pisces video, which we will have August 30th. And so if you align with my energy and you enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and I will connect with you in the next one.